Are you ready, Monarchs fans? It's time for the Old Dominion Football Show with Bruce Rader and Coach Bobby Wilder.
It was the end and it was the beginning. Old Dominion wrapped up the most successful season in its short FBS history Saturday with an impressive come-from-behind win over Florida International, extending the Monarchs' winning streak to 5 games. But still ahead, a first-ever postseason bowl appearance, a showdown against Eastern Michigan in the Bahamas Bowl. What lies ahead? Let's find out.
Let's do it.
The Old Dominion Football Show starts now. I'm Bruce Rader along with Coach Bobby Wilder for this special Thursday night edition of the Old Dominion Football Show. And Coach, you are always celebrating firsts. Your first bowl game coming up on December 23rd, and you were the first team in college football this year to accept a bowl bid. So give us the inside, behind-the-scenes story as to what happened on Saturday and Monday, or Sunday and Monday morning.
Yeah, Wood had been on the phone with different representatives, and give Wood a lot of credit. He was doing a great job. He had a lot of balls in the air, and really when I got involved was Sunday, and I was in the office and I was grading video, getting ready for the kids to come over, and Wood called me and we talked. And Bruce, there were so many options. There was just so much going on. And here's what happened, Bruce. There were 7 teams from our league that became bowl eligible. Well, a lot of the bowls want a regional school. I mean, that makes sense.
Sure.
You know, the bowls want people to attend. So when we started to get the sense that it might be this, well, it might be that, we knew the Bahamas wanted us. The Bahamas wanted Old Dominion. You know what it feels like. If somebody wants you, you want them back. And Wood and I talked about it, and it just came down to this could be difficult for a lot of people, but the kids are going to be overly excited. And that's why we ended up, Bruce, with the Bahamas.
All right, your opponent, Eastern Michigan, you've beaten them twice in the last 3 years. Talk about an amazing turnaround. The Eagles coming off a 1-11 season last year. The program, at the time it was the program's, 20th straight losing season, and now they're headed to a bowl game?
Yeah, really impressed with what they've done. I spoke with Chris Creighton today, their head coach. I have a lot of respect for Chris. We've developed a relationship, Bruce, having played in 14 and 15. We've talked about what you need to do to build a program. Impressive this year, Bruce, going 7-5. They started 4-1. They beat a Wyoming team that was 10-2 this year and is playing for their conference championship, a Wyoming team that beat Boise State. So this is a good football team. They just won their last game against Central Michigan to get to 7-5. Very impressed with what he's done. Different team, Bruce, than the teams we beat in 14 and 15.
Coach, so many things for you to be happy about this week, but you seem to feel something really special for the seniors who have stood by you in this program for the last 4 or 5 years.
Oh, you're not kidding, Bruce. I'll try my best to avoid getting emotional here, but these kids have gone 39-22 in the last 5 years, and they've done this, Bruce, while most of them were primarily recruited to be in the Colonial Athletic Association. Okay, they were recruited as 1AA players, and most of them didn't have a lot of offers even at that level. So when you look at somebody like Zach Pascal and you look at David Washington, you look at Troy Butler, those were scholarship players. Okay, now look at Anthony Wilson, look at TJ Rick. Those were walk-ons. Those are starters that are fifth-year seniors, and what they've accomplished. And Bruce, they've been through heartbreak, they've been through disappointment, they've been through a game that we had to shorten, and we lost because we had 27 guys injured. All these things they've been through, and they persevered. Very proud of this group.
But they're happy this week, aren't they?
Oh, my goodness, Bruce. The office this week has been, it's as if when you walk in, your feet are off the floor in the building. They're just so excited. They're so proud. There's so much anticipation, Bruce, because they've never been. You know, we've never been to a bowl. So all the anticipation and excitement, it's a lot of fun.
All right, you finished the regular season with a 14-point win over Florida International after trailing in the third quarter. What are your guys trying to give you a heart attack? And are they going to learn from these slow starts?
They do. I always say, Bruce, there's 11 players on the other team that are also on scholarship. Okay, so sometimes people forget that when you look and get frustrated and say, why are they doing that? Well, the other guys are trying really hard too. But we've learned this year to embrace chaos. We've learned to handle adversity. We've learned from that 1-2 start where we're coming home on the bus, Bruce, from the NC State game, and we just got beat by 27 points. And the week before by 24, and we're 1-2. And since that time, we ripped off 8 of our last 9 wins. And this game was a microcosm of the season. We faced adversity. We had turnovers, which we had not had. We had a couple fumbles. We had a pick 6. We're down 21-14. David Washington goes in at halftime. We don't know if he's going to play. He hurt his knee. Bruce, he played the second half in immense pain. Immense pain in the second half. He wasn't injured. He was in pain. I told him it's your choice whether or not you want to play. He did, and the kids just responded to come back. We scored 28 straight points in a 15-minute window in the third and fourth quarter. Really impressive how they handled adversity.
That's what ESPN wants. They want a big, high-scoring game from Old Dominion.
They'll get adversity from us, Bruce.
All right, a trip to the Bahamas is a dream come true
sure
for
is.
your players and your staff. But as you mentioned, it can be a challenge for the fans. But the upside to this particular game is really good for not only Old Dominion, but the entire Hampton Roads area.
Yeah, I wish it was a lot easier for our fans, how supportive they've been, how great they've been with us. But to my earlier point with Dr. Seelig, there was no guarantee with all the chaos that was going on with the bowls where we would end up. So we talked about it, and the final decision when Dr. Seelig and I made it on the bowl game was what is best for the players, what's best for these fifth-year seniors that have gone through what they've gone through, and that was the Bahamas. I really hope people can make it. Bruce, my phone is blowing up with people telling me they're coming.
But the exposure is going to be fantastic.
Bruce, I'm glad you brought that up. 1 o'clock on Friday the 23rd on ESPN, the only game in that time slot, 2 days before Christmas. Christmas is on Sunday, and the ratings have shown the last 2 years this has been a well-exposed game. A lot of people are curious, and you got 2 great stories in Old Dominion, Eastern Michigan.
All right. When we come back, we're going to revisit that magical moment from Monday when the bowl bid was announced by hearing from some of the seniors on this year's team that, as Coach said, have had to go through so much to get to this point. That's coming up next on the Old Dominion Football Show. It's been a crazy week on ODU's campus, starting Monday morning when the announcement was made that the Monarchs would be spending the week before Christmas in the Bahamas. Nathan Epstein was there, and he brings that excitement to us tonight.
We're going to the Bahamas!
It was a historic moment, 8 years in the making.
It means so much, and it's really humbling.
14 seniors recruited to play lower-level FCS football just barely missed out on the postseason for 2 straight years, finally get to celebrate history.
Being recruited to play FCS level ball, the fifth-year seniors, and being able to succeed in Division I single A ball is a great feeling.
We sacrificed a lot. Not being able to go to a bowl game 2014, our transition year, and not be able to go last season. So this is very special to us.
Dr. Wood Seelig envisioned this moment but didn't expect it so soon after transitioning from FCS to the top level of FBS football 4 years ago.
I really thought it was going to take 6-7 years for us to actually put ourselves in bowl position, and we've done that a lot quicker than at least I and probably many others thought we would, being bowl eligible in just our second year. It'll be great for our university, great for our region, great for our recruiting. It'll be great for all of ODU athletic.
Really nice vacation place. We're still going down there to handle business, but at the same time, we're going to enjoy ourselves.
Another historic season that will end in the sunshine.
Thank you, Nathan. Coach, it's great for the program, but it's all about the kids.
Oh, it sure is, Bruce. When you think about these seniors, they persevered, they've been good leaders, they've handled responsibility, and we're not talking about real life here. This isn't losing your job or a heartbreak like that, but when you're a young person, to go through what they've gone through, they've set the example for the future, and I'm really proud of them.
All right, when we come back, Coach Wilder answers your questions. It's time for the Coach's Corner, next on the Old Dominion Football Show. Time now for the Coach's Corner. Our first question, Coach, is from Zach in Virginia Beach. There seems to be a lot of former walk-on players that have become key contributors. Were these players late bloomers, or what do you attribute to their success?
That's a great question by Zach. Really what it comes down to is that you take 6 walk-ons we have right now that are starters, and it's all about not only recruitment but development. What gets lost so much in the process is you see these kids, Bruce, they're 5 stars and they don't work out. And you go, how did that happen? And then you see kids that weren't recruited and they end up being great players. It comes down to development. How much does the player want to be developed? How much does he want to be coached? And then can the staff develop that player? And we've been fortunate. These players have allowed us to help them develop. Thanks for the question.
Good coaching. Next question, Robbie in Chesapeake asks, what is the point of emphasis in this year's offseason recruiting, and how in the heck do you replace David Washington?
It's going to be difficult to replace David Washington, Robbie, but we've got some really good quarterbacks that are on our roster currently right now that we'll continue to develop. We recruited them, so it's our responsibility to develop them. We'll do that. We're looking for a quarterback right now in recruiting. But, Bruce, really, we're at the point now, we're at a good spot where now it's continual upgrades in each position. We're not at a point where we're in panic mode. We got to go get 5 guys at one position. We've been able to work the classes, and we're really fortunate. We've got 100 players coming back.
Wow, 100 players coming back. All right, a couple of more things I'd like to touch on before we get kicked out of here. What is the injury situation? Obviously, having 3 weeks to heal up has to help.
Oh, it really does, Bruce. It helps. And some of those players that were hurt earlier in the year, we might get back now with this time frame. So we still have 32 players that are on the injury update, as I call it now, and they're getting healthy. Bruce, they'll have 10 days off between the last time we practiced and our next practice, and that's an eternity in season.
All right. I know this is a key recruiting time. You mentioned you're already looking towards the future.
Right.
It never ends, does it, Coach?
Never does. I was out this past week, Bruce, on the road. All my assistants are gone all week. They left Sunday after the game. Talk about being an assistant coach. Play the game Saturday. You know you're going to a bowl game. They're on the road Sunday all the way up till this coming Friday, and then we'll get back to work with our players. But, Bruce, you got to recruit. You have to recruit, and then you got to develop.
All right. Well, you certainly have done a good job developing over the past few years because, I'm sorry, Coach, did you happen to mention you're going to the Bahamas?
We're going to the Bahamas Bowl, 9-3, tied for the best record in Conference USA. How about that?
All right. That's coming up Friday, December 23rd, 1 o'clock. I'll bring you complete coverage of the game that week.
Yes, he will.
And we'll be back next week. I'm going to be working down there, Coach. I'll be
elbowing him to get on the water slide.
You know anyone wants to see that. We'll both be back next week, and we'll dig a little deeper into the game here on the Old Dominion Football Show. Good night, everybody.
Good night.